Hello everyone, welcome back to Easy Peasy Photoshop. For today's lesson, we're gonna talk about the transfer and move tool. We talk about the smart object and we're gonna talk about the layer style. Okay, let's first start with the transfer. Just imagine that you have a PSD file like this and well, you can move the layer, but what if I want to make this layer smaller? It's so big for me, I want to make it smaller. What I'm gonna do? Very simple. You go here on the edit, then you go to the transform. Here you have a different kind of transfer form. Let's discuss each of them one by one. If you click on the scale, now you can make it smaller or larger, or even in the different dimension. You can just make it bigger or smaller. If you okay with the result, for example, if you make it like that, and if it's the size that you want, you simply click on the check mark. If you don't like it, you click on the other one, so you cancel your transfer. If you hold the shift key while you are doing that, hold the shift key, it's exactly like the way that we use for the selecting tools. When you hold the shift, the ratio will be same, so your image won't get deformed at all. So just imagine I make it that small here. Okay, now I'm gonna click here, or you can also just press enter and it will be, it's look like that you already approved the transform change. So the other one is rotate. So simply you can rotate this image anywhere that you want to. The other one is skew. Here you can actually give kind of like the perspective form to your image. You do it like that, like this, or like that, and like this. The next one is distort. Actually, it looks like the other option that we see a while ago. You can do it like this or like this, but the difference here is that you can also make it narrow or you stretch it. You don't have this option in the skew transform. The other one is perspective. For example, just imagine I want to place this photo here on this wall. You see I have this corridor, I want to place it here, so I use the perspective tool. I can easily give perspective to my image and see, I place it here. So as you see, it has the same perspective with this corridor, with my wall lines. And of course at the end you have the wrap tools. So you can move each place separately, like make it like that, get like this, move this along. Okay, click here, transform happens. Okay, so and if you go here again in this you can see there are some fixed rotate, like rotate 100 degree, rotate 90 degree clockwise and counterclockwise, which you can actually do the same thing here. You can give the angle directly here, like if you give 45, that means it will rotate 45 degrees. So you don't really need to use this part as long as you're using the rotate. And you have two other options, flip horizontal and flip vertical. What that means is look like you are mirroring the image. If you flip horizontal, look where my tree is here. If I flip horizontal, it's look like the mirror object. That's what happened. And if I use the flip vertical, now it's become upside down. So if you want to do the things fast, you don't really need to go and every time click the things here, okay? There is another option, as you see here, it says free transform, and it's Control T. See, let's see what will happen. If I place on the Control T, I have my transfer, but what is this? I can change the scale, and at the same time I can rotate it. If I put my mouse outside, I can rotate it. If you want to get access to the other kind of transform that we have, you just need to right click on your object and your layer. See, you can choose any of the other free transform tool that we have. You have all of them here. You also have your flip horizontal and flip vertical here, so it's faster. You don't really need to go to the edit section. It's gonna be takes time, so it's easier for you guys to just using Control T. It's so simple, and you can, for example, I do the same thing that I said. I'm gonna put this painting on this wall, but this time let's mix actually these different kind of transfer that I have. Now right now I'm in the distort. I distort it, put it here, move this there, move it here. See, it's now perfectly matched with my wall. I can also change the size or any other changes that I want. I can do it. So, and as I said, we have something here, and I'm flip. When you put this flip, only this layer that you are selecting will be flip, vertical or horizontal. What if I want to flip my entire image, all of the layers, any kind of layer, like if I have two different layers here and my background, I want to flip everything at the same time. What I'm gonna do here, this time you go into the image rotation. You can see you have some items here. If I click here, flip canvas horizontal, my entire canvas, all the document change. It's not just one layer, it's all the document. You can also, again, vertical, everything become upside down. And of course, if you also move something like 90-degree clockwise, as you see, my entire image actually rotates. So that's how you work with the transfer. Now, let's show you guys something here. For example, I have this object here. What will happen if I make it small? Then I just realize actually I want it to be bigger. I don't want it to be small. Then I make it big again. Let's see what will happen. The quality will lose badly because actually I make it small. So when you want to make it big, you're gonna stretch it again. So the quality will be reduced. How can we do this change without affecting the quality? We're gonna use a smart object. How are we gonna do the smart object? I have this layer here. Okay, I'll go click on the layers. I go on the smart object, then convert to a smart object. As you see here in my layer panel, there is an icon appear here. That means this layer is a smart object. If I make this small, then if I again make it bigger, nothing changed. The quality is still the same as it was. So basically, when you do something, a smart object, all the information will remain there, no matter if you make it smaller, bigger, or put any filter on that one. The original object, the original size, the quality, everything will be the same. And when you have something on the smart object, you cannot edit it. For example, if I want to make a line here, put a line here, if I go to my brush, as you see, I cannot do anything. My icon is look like an error. It's like you cannot do anything. And even if I want to click here, it will appear here that if I want to continue using my brush, my smart object will change to a normal layer. It's not a smart object anymore. So how can we edit something if we want to keep it on the smart object, but at the same time I want to edit it? So this time you go again to you select this smart layer, you go to the layer, you go to the smart object, you go to the edit content. As you see, my image opened in another document. It's the same image. If I do anything change here, like for example, I add some color blue here, then I add some, for example, this color, like light brown here, okay? Then, if I save my document, when you're gonna save it, do not change the address, do not change the name, anything. Just let it be as it's made by the program. Don't change anything, okay? You just save it here, okay? See? As I save my document, the change that I made on that document, it appears here into my original document in my smart object. So actually that's how you're gonna edit your smart object. If you want to put filter, if you want to do anything with that smart object, you have to use the edit content, create a different document, do all the changes here, and automatically these changes will appear here in your main document. So another way to create the smart object is also here in this layer panel. If you make a right click, then you can here see convert to a smart object. You just click on that and that's it. The object go to the smart object. If ever you want to remove the smart object, it's simple. You just go use any brush or eraser, whatever you have, click anywhere on the image. When this message pop up, just click on the OK, and now your layer go back to the normal layer. It's not a smart object anymore. And okay, now maybe you have a question. How can I put another image here in my document? For example, this is the main document that I have. How can I place my other document? It's also simple. See, I have two different images. What I'm gonna do, I will just go to the move tool and I make a left click, then I bring it here. As you see, my icon change, and I just drag it here. So sometimes it's actually it's one of your options. When you want to move something in some version of the Photoshop, it will automatically ask you if you want to move it as a smart object. So you always say yes. So if you put it yes, the image will be on the smart object, so you're not going to lose any quality if you make it bigger or smaller. And if you don't want to move it as a smart object, so simply you just click on the no. Okay, now let's talk about layer style. What are the style? Let me open another document for you guys. Okay, something very simple. Just a background and two pink circle in the middle. Okay, in your layer panel, if you go here, you have a icon here which is a layer style. Click on that one. Okay, you have lots of options here, but basically what you're gonna do, you just click on the top one, because actually when you click on the top one, see, you have everything here. And if you just go click it here directly, it just bring you there. Like if you put it on the drop shadow, actually it's exactly the same menu, but when you click on the first option, you're gonna start from the top. But anyway, you have all the different style that you have. Okay, so let's see what these styles do. Basically, they're gonna put effect on your layer. For example, if I go to the drop shadow, as you can see, there is a shadow come around my object. Now here I can change the options of this shadow. For example, I can change the opacity of the shadow. I make it darker, I make it brighter. I can even change the color of my shadow. Let's say I want my shadow be like color yellowish shadow. Okay, and you can put the distance, how far I want my shadow be from my object. Spread, you can make it like softer edge or the harder edge, how big it's going to be, and finally the size of the shadow. Okay, so it's up to you. You can just play with them, whatever you want to. You can change the angle of your shadow. And you can also add a noise or all the other options that you have here. Okay, so just imagine I make this shadow here. Okay, and I want to go create different shadow here. If I go click here again, I go to my blending option, or I can just directly click on the drop shadow. Now, as you see, the last shadow that you give, the same information happens here, but you can change it. If you change anything here, it's not going to affect your other shadow. The only thing that is important, do not check this one. Because if you check this one, use global light, that means you're going to set a certain direction of the light. For example, I'm going to make a document. I want this part will be my light source. So when I put something like that, use global light, if I change the other, if I put like here, I use the global light here. So my shadow is here, okay? And if I go back here, I go to my drop shadow. If you have already a style, you have an effect, you see the effect will be showing down your layer. So you can just double click on it. It will automatically bring you to the drop shadow. Okay, so here, as you see, this other layer is not using the global light. If I check here again, you see the angle of my light is changed, the shadow going that way, because I'm using that global light that I made. If you uncheck it, it will go back to what you had already before. So if you want to have a different shadow, different angle, uncheck that global light. Okay, and anytime that you want to just hide any of this effect, for example, I have this effect here. I just want to see how does it look like if I remove it. I don't need to really remove it. I just want to hide it. You simply click here, and your drop shadow gone, and you click it, it will come back. You're not going to delete it. It's look like same here in the layer when you can hide the items. All right. Now let's add another effect also on this one. You can actually put all of them at the same time. You don't have a limit on it. For example, I'll go to this stroke. Basically here I can add a light around my, I can add a lining around my object, for example. I'm gonna use that kind of dark blue line. I can change the size. Change the opacity. All right. For example, something like this. And let's also work on the. They are not something that be hard to know. You just need to go there, click on each of these styles, then just work with them. You know, it's easy. There is nothing that I really want to teach you guys. You can already know everything about it. You already know the terms, you know what opacity means, you know what its size means, this spread, what that means. You know, it's something that you can easily just play with them and see the changes. It's so obvious. You can see the changes, okay? For example, I also click here, okay? Now, if I create another layer here, for example, I have my new layer. Let's have this one a rectangle. I want to have a red rectangle. If I want to put the exact effect that I put here into this one, you don't need to really go here one by one, do the same thing. All you need to do, you click on this layer that has the effect, make a right click, and you say copy layer style. Click on that, then you go here, make a right click, paste layer style. See, exactly same layer style come here. And if you want, you can just hide any of them. For example, I want to hide my shadow, or I just want to hide my line around it. It's up to you. And whenever you want to remove everything from the image, you delete it. It's not just like you hide them. You want to completely delete it. You just make a right click and clear layer style. You click on that. Everything is deleted here. Nothing gonna show. Okay. Now, what I want you guys to do, you go to your window here on the style, click on it. No, this is the new panel that we're gonna use, or style panel. Okay, you can see you have some preset styles here. It's under Photoshop. Everyone has them. For example, let me delete this. Let's just work on this square that we have here. If I double click in any of these, the layer that I selected, it automatically will get that layer style. For example, I click on this. That's a layer style, and you can see it's made by what? It's made by one color overlay. That's why the color changed. I click on this style. See what's happened. I click on this style. Any style that you change, it keeps changing and changing. See, for example, this one, it has lots of effects, different effects on it. And of course, if you want, you can change any of them. You just click them. For example, the color overlay, I'm going to just double click here. And you can see this is my color overlay. So I can just change it. For example, I change it to the green. So basically, the rest of my effects are the same. I just change the color. So you can also update or change any of these preset styles. Also, if you click here in these 3 lines here you can see you have lots of different type of styles. For example, if I go to the web style and you just click on the OK. Okay, now let's see. There are different type of style now. There are different category of the style. All right, and of course you have other things like I go to the buttons. That's it. You see, there are the different type of the style. You can even create your own style. For example, if let me clear all of this here. For example, let's make something. I wanna. For example, this is the style that I want. What I'm going to do, I simply click here. And I can name it, for example, we call this one lesson, then we just OK. And here, now we have this style here. Okay, so anytime you click on it, it will go back here. If you have any other object, I will create another object here, different color. Let's make it this time yellow. And I create a yellow one. Then this is the style that I made. I just click on it. See, it has the same effect. And if you want to delete anything, you just click on it and delete the style, and it will be gone. So you can change this here, and you can see here you have load style. You can download lots of style over the internet, and simply you can just save that style in your computer. Then you just click on the load style, go to the file that you have that style and check on it, click on the load, and it will appear here. Okay. So that's about the style. Maybe you thinking, so what about it? Where I'm going to use it? This style is really used for the web design, and also if you're creating the brochure or something like that. It's not much gonna use on the photo editing or the digital arts. I'm not gonna say we're not gonna use it at all, but mostly we're not gonna use it, because as you see, when you put the style, everything is like it's like you look everything from the top. For example, if I also open the previous one, for example, this office, and you see, if I want to put it here, then I have my drop shadow, for example. I put the shadow at this distance. You see, it's not matched with my image, because it's not matched with the light source that I have here. It looks like there is just a circle with the shadow that we look at it from the top. So, but still, we can use it also for the photo editing. It's up to you guys. As I said before, it's an artistic program, so you just use your own imagination, your own style. You create your own things. So let me show you the sample of using this style in the actual work. Here I have some works here. So as you see, all of these, they are made by a style. They are the different buttons that you can just click on them over the internet, like add to cart, or when you go buy shopping. For example, this is just a style, this is a style, this is a style. See, for example, if I go here, button 11, if I open it, they are the things that I used here. Go to the bottom. You can see they have some style here. If I click here, it shows this. I have this effect here, and I have the inner shadow. So basically, if I remove my style, you can see it's just a normal shape. It's all because of these two style that it make it like that one. Again, we go here on this button, button 12. And here, if you click here, you can see. Actually, if I remove all the effects, that's what it will look like, just a simple black rectangle. But you can see there are the different things that I put. I have put a gradient here, then I put an inner shadow, then I put a stroke, and then finally I embarrass the side. So that's how you're gonna do. It's your own creativity. Try to go work with this style, mix the stuff together, and create a new things. You can actually do the same thing if you want. Try to create like 10 different add to cart or the buying button for yourself. Don't think about the texting now. We are not yet to go to the text part. Just try the simple button, just normal rectangular shape, and try to use the style, work with them, and see what you can create with it. Okay, so it was our today lesson, short lesson, but very important, because in our next lesson we're gonna talk about the vector arts and the shapes. With actually, that's why I need to first tell you guys about these two these two topic before we move there. So see you on the next lesson.